Street. Turning to the coronavirus in Connecticut again today, in fact, Hartford Healthcare gave Eyewitness News a tour of the warehouse where they're now stockpiling PPE. The health network recently began storing its medical and cleaning supplies in Newington. The facility here stores items like masks, gloves, and isolation gowns. Hartford Healthcare says as of right now, they actually have a 6-month supply of critical PPE.
It supports all of Hartford Healthcare's, the 430 sites across our entire organization.
Now, coming up on Eyewitness News at 5:30, Channel 3's Shantae Passmore will show us what it took for them to secure all of these supplies right here.
Much more now on the COVID vaccine. So many of you have reached out to us looking for help and more information about the vaccine registration process, and we are here for you. Joining me now to help break it all down is Dr. James Carden, Hartford Healthcare's Chief Clinical Integration Officer and CEO of Integrated Care Partners. Dr. Carden, thank you so much for being with us.
Glad to be here.
So obviously this is an unprecedented situation and it can be complicated. We received a ton of emails. I personally did. The station did. We received phone calls. A lot of people with a lot of questions. So let's start with this. What do people need to know if they want to register for the vaccine?
Certainly. We are extremely pleased to be able to be pivoting now to being able to offer the vaccine to our communities, and currently in our partnership with the state who is guiding our who is eligible, we are extending this to those over 75 years old and continuing to vaccine first responders and healthcare workers. For us to register to get a vaccine, you can go to hartfordhealthcare.org/vaccine. That will bring you to a page that will allow you to choose I'm over 75 years old. Click on that and it'll walk you through the process to both register and schedule for a vaccine. For those that have challenges, there's a phone number there as well that you can call to get phone support if needed, if you're having difficulty with the technology.
This is a pretty interesting situation, too. We've had a couple people reach out. They turn 75 in the next few weeks, so they are right on the cusp. They want to know if they can register now for a date after their birthday or if they need to wait here.
Yeah, what we're doing is that the logic will ask if you're 75 years old, and so what we're asking to do is schedule at your appropriate time. It's really when you get the vaccine administered that's critical for us to adhere to the guidelines. We know the guidelines are going to be extended to broader populations as well, so that going ahead and finding that schedule is perfectly reasonable as long as you're administering the vaccine after your age.
Okay, good. That makes a lot of sense. And lastly, how can people prepare for the vaccine appointment? They finally make it. They're heading there that day. What do they need to bring?
Very important. First, it's very important. The reason we do all this scheduling is to make sure that we're controlling the crowds at the sites. We certainly don't want a lot of people lining and queuing up for this. We still need to make sure that we're doing all the social distancing, mask wearing, all of the appropriate things to keep each other safe, because we're still all exposed to the virus. So coming at your appropriate time, you will be seen. And we marry the vaccine we have available to all of our slots so that there's no risk you will not get vaccinated as long as you have a scheduled appointment. When you arrive, you'll come through the front door of all of our sites. You'll be screened with the temperature screen questions as usual to make sure that you're not currently potentially ill. Check in, relatively easy process if you've already registered. The process of check-in and vaccination only takes a few minutes. And then we're going to ask you to stay with us for about 15 minutes to make sure you tolerate the vaccines okay, that there's been no adverse reactions, you feel well, and if at that point things are looking fine, you're free to go and move from there. We will be scheduling your second dose as soon as your first dose is completed, so that we need to make sure that second dose is going to be completed to get the full coverage, and you will be walking out with an invitation to get that vaccine on a date that makes sure you're getting the appropriate vaccine at the right time.
All right, a lot of good questions, and you've helped provide us with a lot of good answers. So, Dr. Carden, again, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And just a reminder, we have an entire list of who is eligible in Phase 1B. That is right now on the Channel 3 app. Also on our website, WFSB.com. You can find links to register online and phone numbers you can call to make